It is an icy morning here in Western North Carolina, and it is that time of the year where we start to think about what we should do with our plants during the winter. The question I want to explore in this video is what happens if we have a fig tree or any plant that's in a container and that container freezes. Is the tree going to die? I have a lot of fig trees that are in containers, and that's rock solid. And even in this greenhouse where we have a lot of other potted plants, it's still frozen in here. This tree is, it's not dead yet. It's still got some green leaves on it and some fruits on it. But the soil is rock hard, and a leaf just fell off of it. I am by no means a gardening expert, and every situation is different depending on where you are, what the temperatures are, how long the freeze period is, and what plant it is, and how old the plant is. There are so many factors, but what I can share is that I had a bunch of fig trees that we stored in our crawl space last year, and they were put down there when they went dormant, when all their leaves dropped. And we had very cold temperatures last year around Christmas time and New Year's, and those trees still survived. Like, they obviously were frozen. The soil and the pot was solid, just like we saw here in the greenhouse, and the plants survived. And I didn't do anything to try to save them. I didn't water them or try to heat them up. Just kept them in their pots, and eventually the temperatures rose back up and they came back next year. So what I've been doing with figs that's been pretty successful is that I do not try to give them any protection or bring them inside until they are completely dormant. And right now it's November 2nd. We're starting to get to the end of fall and heading into winter, and this is our first sub 20 degree weather. So the trees are not dormant yet. Many of them still have leaves, and as you can see, the leaves are starting to curl up and wither and fall because the temperatures are dropping and the amount of sunlight during the day is decreasing. And then the tree knows that it needs to conserve energy and start to enter its resting period. So it drops its leaves. But until the leaves have really all fallen off and the tree is in a completely rested state, I don't want to do anything to harm that process, because it's completely natural for a tree or a fig tree to go dormant. And I don't want to disrupt that, even if it's in a container or if it's in the ground. Fig trees that are in the ground, like the ones you can see behind me here, those roots are not frozen. It's much warmer down there than it is, being exposed to the open air in a container. Mulching really helps with temperature control, keeping things warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer. But those trees are eventually going to go dormant as well. What I plan to do this winter is to wrap those trees to try to preserve some of the growth that happened this year. And I'm going to make a video on that, so subscribe to the channel, because that video is going to be coming probably in December. The idea with adding protection to in-ground fig trees, in my opinion and experience, is more about preserving that growth that happened last year. Because figs, even in zone 6, are pretty resilient. They usually don't die completely, but they will have a lot of dieback if you don't protect them during the winter. So you're gonna kind of lose all that growth that happened last year unless you add some protection to the branches. So in conclusion, if you're concerned about your fig tree that's in a container that's been frozen and you think it's gonna die, it's probably not gonna die. Its leaves may fall off, its leaves may curl. That's completely natural. That's the tree going into dormancy. But as far as I understand, there's no action that really needs to be taken, and it's actually better to not try to put some warm water on it and try to warm it up. Just let it stay as it is. The tree knows what it's doing and it knows how to adapt, and everything's gonna be all right. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you found it helpful. Also, take it with a grain of salt, and I recommend doing your own research and experiments. Stay tuned if you're interested to see how I'm gonna wrap and protect my in-ground fig trees this winter. So that video will probably come in December. Give this video a like if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.